What's up, guys? So I want to go over this because what's happening is everyone's just updating to update their firmware with the H501S. And I want to be very clear about this, okay? In my head, there's only really a couple reasons why you would want to update. Number one, you're not getting decent range out of the box if you're having issues. Now, that's completely up to you, okay? But most people fall off between 50 and 90 meters and then, they start losing FPV and signal. I can understand that because technically the law doesn't say anything about that. Like, you're supposed to fly basically line of sight in the US, okay? As far as you can see it, basically, okay? 90 meters, most people can see anything at 90 meters. So that's a big irritation that the firmware has been dumped back that far, okay? With that being said, all right, most of you guys, I don't normally fly that far, okay? I just do that for firmware testing. Most of the time, I'm much closer than that. The most I'll normally fly out is maybe 300 meters. I can normally see it. The only time I'll fly extremely far is when I'm doing firmware testing. There's really no other reason to have to fly that far, ever, okay? But let me just say that the only real reason you should change your firmware is if you're having problems out of the box, okay? And you're not getting exactly what you want out of it, all right? It's nice to be able to go that far, but sometimes by changing your firmware, you make things worse, and then it's really hard to get back to where you started, okay? So if it's not broken and you're already getting pretty good range, then I really don't see the reason to do or perform a firmware update for any reason, all right? Because then you start running into problems of, well, I put this firmware on there and now I'm losing range, and then you try to go back and it causes more problems. So from me, guys, from my standpoint, yes, I test a lot of firmware. Yes, I've never really had a problem. But, I get a lot of people that will update to Superflyer, put exactly the same package on theirs that I have, and they won't still get nearly the range. Why? I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Perhaps it's older components that they have. They get an older model. It doesn't quite have some of the stuff that the new ones have. I don't know. I can't answer that. That's a question that Hubsan would have to answer, okay? Because when you put 4.2.9 on a transmitter like a standard, you should get exactly what I get. There shouldn't be so many variables in there for differences between people. When they do an update, they should get almost the exact same thing as the next person that does the update. I can't figure out why Hubsan can't pinpoint what causes that, I have no idea. So my suggestion to you guys, okay, from drone worship standpoint, is if you are already getting decent range and you've got everything you need out of your bird, and then don't change anything. Don't mess with the firmware, guys. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But if you get it out of the box and you're having problems, then I would start, looking at firmware and trying to see what works best for you. You know what I'm saying? So I get all these people like, well, I updated and now I'm screwed. It's like, well, I was getting 600 meters of range before, now I'm getting 150. It's like, well, dude, 600 would be good for most people. Why would you, I can't tell you guys what to do. I'm just drone worship. All I can do is test firmware and suggest things. That's it, man. I'm not here to say that this is going to work for everybody. Okay, if your quad comes out of the box and you're getting decent range, I wouldn't mess with anything. I would just leave it alone. When I got my quad, what started this whole firmware testing and doing all this stuff was because I was only getting 90 meters and then the FPV would fall off. So I started messing with firmware and putting videos out and telling people what worked and what didn't work. Still, I think my favorite is Superflyer. This is a good package, but I am noticing glitches with it, okay? By the way, the follow me mode did work much better today. I didn't get it on camera. I didn't remember to do that. The truckers were kind of coming out and they were just making it a little hectic for me, and I just wasn't able to think about it at the time. But the follow me mode with the new 1.5.25 did work pretty well. So maybe yesterday was just it was a toss-up. Magnetic problems from the power lines, I have no idea, but it did work much better today. Now, the RTH was still having problems. It was still like kind of all over the map. I've never had return to homes do that before, so I am going to assume that's something to do with the new firmware. It was a little windy today, so like I said, I'm not changing my version back to Superflyer just yet. I'm going to continue playing with this version, okay, and seeing what happens. Circle me mode doesn't work. It's such a tease that Hubsan does that kind of stuff to us to get us to buy the 501A. Yes, I said it. That's a tease. Make you feel something like, I wish I had that feature. Well, then buy the 501A. You know, it's a tease, guys. It's a selling ploy. All right. I like Hubsan products. It's just the way they do things is so goofy. I still can't convince them to put out a compatibility firmware chart for everyone. I don't understand why everyone does this firmware update that I suggest, and then a bunch of people lose range and they get just totally screwed. Hubsan really needs to explain that to me, because there should be no reason. Notifications, gotta love them. Hubsan should really be able to explain that away. Why is this person in the United States do the exact same update as me and lose range, or it doesn't do anything for him? It makes no sense. Okay? Because out of the box, mine was junk, and then I updated it, and boom, now it's a monster. So I guess, guys, it's really up to you as a person of what you're looking for out of the quad, because you start messing with firmware, guys. This is my warning. You start messing with firmware, you start screwing things up. Sometimes it works out perfect and you make out like a bandit, and other times, man, you lose features and then the thing doesn't function right ever again and you start having all sorts of issues. So, you know, it's up to you. It's a 50-50 rollover chance, you know, that you're going to come out on top or you're going to come out worse than you went into it. All right? That's a decision you guys are going to have to make. All right, all I can tell you is what I've done and show you exactly what happened to mine and then suggest, hey, is it good or is it bad? It's good. You know, don't come on there and be like, well, I did it and now I'm fucked. You know, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. Okay, worked great on mine. I got all these different features, everything worked great. That is something that needs to be taken up with Hubsan, okay? Because honestly, Hubsan I don't know if it's lack of quality during the manufacturing building process, or it's an older parts that, you know, you didn't get an upgraded controller that doesn't communicate right with the firmware, didn't change anything, no idea. You know, I can't give you guys those answers. I don't know, you know. I know a lot about this bird, but I can't. Those are things that just Hubsan has to answer for, okay? Anyways, guys, I wanted to put that out there for everyone so that I don't keep getting blasted for it, all right? I'm Dremel Mership. These are all my own conclusions on what I base my quad off of, and all I can try to do is show you how things work and go from there. So, Dremel Mership, and I'm out. Toodaloo.
Give yourself to the dark side.